What's up, guys? Welcome to BitCast, episode 43 for the week of November 5th, 2017. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and in the studio this week we have Michael Carrillo.
Hey.
Mike, this is your second time on this podcast now?
Yep, it's about a year ago.
Last time we talked about Pokemon, and this time we're talking about a really exciting game. Not that Pokemon's not exciting, but Super Mario Odyssey. But first, I do want to apologize. And if you are a listener of the show, you've probably noticed I haven't posted in the past 3 or 4 weeks, and that is because if you caught on the last podcast, I mentioned that I was unemployed. And weirdly enough, when I had a ton of free time, you would think I would post more stuff, but I did not.
Yeah, you know.
I did some streaming stuff, so hopefully you caught some of that stuff. But other than that, it was a weird time where I was more focused on getting a job, but good news, I'm starting a new job tomorrow. So therefore, you should be having regular, consistent podcasts every single Tuesday again.
Now that you have obligations, you can put those to the side to focus on this, obviously.
Well, what's weird? No, it's so I explained it to Hannah this way. I was like, if I have limited time, I'm almost hyper focused on making sure that I can do something, and I know what time it has to happen, and I know what time frame it needs to happen. So I'm like, okay, I get out of work at 5, and it has to happen after work at these time frames. And so I'll I don't know, for some reason, when I have more pressure and I'm constricted, I do better.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Where I had the whole day, I'm just like, well, I could do it, or I could just not do it and play Destiny 2 for 4 hours straight, and then Super Mario Odyssey for 4 hours straight. So
yeah, I remember college. I remember it. So,
that was a majority of my days. So yeah, we'll talk about that near the end of our news segment, so I don't spoil anything. But yeah, we're talking about Mario Odyssey. Came out for the Switch on Friday, so that was the 27th of October. Yes, that sounds right.
That sounds right. Yeah, 27th.
And let me tell you something. It is dope.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is dope. I don't know how many hours I put in. I don't want to know how many hours I put in so far.
Same. Don't want to know.
But before we do that, we are going to be talking about just some of the news real quick. And make sure, if you are a listener, to leave reviews. Go ahead and comment on this kind of stuff if you want to, and follow us on Facebook. I'll be sure to throw some of your topics on there, and send emails to bitcast@bitbloggist.com, where you can be a part of the show. If you submit a topic, we'll read it out, and we'll give you some props near the end of it. Drink of the show today is a nice cup of water. I was going to sling some espresso for us, but I decided since it's 7 o'clock, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Acid reflux, heartburn, all kinds of stuff, old people stuff. But before we jump into the news, I always ask, Mike, what are you playing right now, if you are playing anything else beyond Mario Odyssey?
Okay, so yeah, a lot of Mario Odyssey. I did grab Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, wait, Warriors is the one that's on 3DS, correct?
No, so Fire Emblem Warriors is on the Switch. It is the same setup as Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, shoot, man.
So,
okay.
yeah, you're just running around crushing hundreds of enemies at one
It's
time.
It's a classic Muso game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those are the best. But I've actually heard this one is pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. They did an interesting take on it this time, so you can switch between up to 4 different characters, and you can pause at any time and direct your other characters to go anywhere else they need to go, and hey, you go over here and kill this guy while I'm going over here to do this. It's awesome.
I'm gonna go murder this guy real quick.
Yeah.
You guys go over there, do some more murder over there.
Yeah.
Is there a story in these? In this one?
Yeah, I don't think it's part of the main arc, because
Okay.
they bring in characters from a bunch of the different games into
Which is
one.
cool.
They kind of explain that in a weird way, but
do you have Roy or Marth in there hanging out?
Marth is there, no Roy, and so far no Ike, which I'm really upset about. I mean, I want Ike to be
What's
there,
the chant in Smash Bros? Ike, we want Ike, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, cool. The last Dynasty Warriors game I remember playing was 5 or 6 on I don't even know if it was on PS2. I might be exaggerating now how many numbers there've been of that game.
Oh yeah, I think I had the re-release of 8 for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but
which is insane. There've been that many.
It's crazy, but it goes to show that they're popular and they're fun, and especially if it's characters you actually enjoy playing as. The Zelda one actually caught my eye, where I was like, this will be cool. Hyrule Warriors, I'm getting to play as Link and just beat up more people. I never jumped on it though.
I had that one as well. It was also very, very fun. Yeah, it was good.
Is it same or is it better?
The
Fire Emblem Warriors.
Fire Emblem Warriors. I like this one better.
Okay.
Honestly.
Just better story, better mechanics.
Better story. I like the mechanics
kind of
on it. Plus, just crushing everything in your path is way too fun.
And I feel like it feels like that's almost out of place for a Zelda game. If that makes sense,
Yeah, it is kind of weird with the Zelda game.
With Fire Emblem, it makes sense because they're all like knights and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they kind of go around and they already have swords and do that kind of stuff. So I guess it makes sense. Well, cool. Like I said, I'm playing Mario Odyssey also, a ton of that, and I am playing Destiny 2 still. I just tried going back through the campaign. So I don't know if you're familiar with Destiny at all. So you create your own character, and there's 3 classes. There's a warlock, a titan, and a hunter. You can kind of imagine their skill sets, but basically you play through the whole game with one character, and then you have the option to create a new character and go through the campaign again and level him all the way up or her all the way up, and so on and so forth. And so I tried doing that today. Well, I started doing that today with the Titan, and it is boring. It is very, very boring, especially when you've done the whole campaign before. You're like, this is not fun.
I'm sure it feels like dungeon grinding.
It really is. Like, it's like so easy. Like, it's all the AI is just not very good and strong. So you can almost run through it, but you're like kind of gated off by having to do one stupid thing by go scan this in this room over here, and then run back and then shoot a bunch of bullets into this giant thing, and then you'll be able to progress. And it's like, oh my goodness. Just let me go ahead and please do this. So that's all I'm doing right now. Like I said, when you're unemployed, you have a lot of time. So unfortunately, I'll have to slow down on my Destiny grind tomorrow. But other than that, that's really all I've been playing. Mario Odyssey is definitely something you can sink your time into.
Yeah.
With all those freaking power moons. Oh my bless.
Oh gosh.
So real quick, we're gonna jump into the news segment. Be right back. And we're back. We're going to talk about news now. Everyone's favorite segment. Michael, I don't know if we've actually done a news segment together, so this could be a first. But get ready, because it's rowdy. Let me tell you.
I'm ready.
So, first up on the list, Nintendo wants everyone to own a Switch. This comes by way of Nintendo Life. According to Wall Street Journal's Takashi Mochizuki, Tatsumi Kimishima has recently told investors that the company wants the Switch to be positioned as a system that all family members own rather than just having one per household. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's pricey. It's a bit much.
$350, right?
Yeah.
Per console.
It's cheaper than most consoles, but at the same time,
by $50.
Well, yeah, 50 or 100, something like that. But
tax,
depending upon what you're looking for. But I mean, I could see it because if you've got 2, you can play against each other on a lot of the games.
Yeah, and I know that's something that they show in all the commercials too. They show people with multiple Switches at a house, and they're all like playing split screen, or not split screen, but they're playing multiplayer like Mario Kart. And honestly, I haven't really played a ton of other multiplayer games on the Switch. It's been Mario Kart, Snipper Clips, and I think that's it.
I'm trying to think if I've done any either. I mean, so the Fire Emblem Warriors is multiplayer, so I've done that.
Almost every game I have is single player.
Yeah, but then everything else, I'm pretty sure it's all been.
And they're all so good.
Yeah, love it.
Got Zelda. I mean, come on. But with this, it's just interesting because there is this weird disparity between it being a handheld console and it being a home console. And traditionally, back in the day, you'd have one home console and you kind of share it with your brothers, your siblings, or family members, whatever. And that was it. But this, obviously, Nintendo's like, hey, there's an opportunity here because we can kind of market it as a handheld, and people will probably want to buy too because their kids want their own. Yeah. You take it in the car, who gets the Switch?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I could see fights with me and my brother.
Especially if you want to play a single player game. It's like, I'm playing Zelda now, so you have to just do nothing while I play Zelda. And it's like, well, that sucks. It's like, what am I going to do? Read a book? Ugh. Yeah.
Now, as an adult, I will sit and watch somebody play Zelda for hours because amazing.
Absolutely, but would you?
As a child, I would lose it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be salty. I was so selfish. And would you watch it on the Switch though? Like if you were in the car?
Oh yeah, not handheld. No.
Yeah, it'd be awful. It'd be a terrible experience. You're sitting in there and you're just watching your brother or sibling just play all the way through Zelda. It's like, that's pretty cool.
I wish I was doing that right now.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, make sure you get the rock goblin over there. Nope. Okay.
Go to the left. Go to the left.
All right, I can't see what you're doing right now because the screen's kind of small, but okay. So, I don't know. And then we'll have some news actually that correlates directly with this. I'm going to actually skip ahead into the next page. I apologize. But you can kind of see here on this infographic, and I'll hold it up to the screen so you guys know what we're talking about, or maybe I'll just edit this so you guys can see it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look.
Can you see it?
Do you see it?
Can you see it?
Okay, so according to this infographic, we have like 18% of people play in the TV mode or docked mode, which is pretty surprising because I feel like a majority of the time I'm playing docked.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. Most of the time I'm playing handheld.
Really?
Now, with Odyssey, I've been playing docked. But Breath of the Wild, I was all handheld.
Who are you?
I love it.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know who you are. And then I think this is kind of a confusing graph because it's like it leads up to 100, but essentially, and then they classify these numbers by 80% of the time they're in this mode. And so for handheld, it looks like there's about 30% of people that do handheld mode. And then in between, you have, it looks like, whatever the difference is, like 50% of people that do both.
Actually playing both.
Yeah. And so that's pretty, I mean, like you're on the go all the time. I just don't feel like, being in a not urban city that I don't need to take it on the go with me all the time. And having an 8 to 5 job, usually I'm like, well, I'm going to come home and then I'll play Switch. I don't have the opportunity to take it to work usually and play.
Yeah.
Although I would love that. That'd be sweet. There were a few times where I would bring it to work and we'd play like, Mario Kart or something like that, just like on our lunch breaks, like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, I've definitely brought mine to the bar with me before, and like we've all huddled around it and been like drinking in the brewery and just like playing around the Switch. Yeah. It's fun.
Speaking of brewery, quick shout out to Heaven and Ale. Have you been to their new?
No, I'm so excited,
dude. It is awesome.
Yeah, I've heard like the art on the inside is amazing.
It's so cool. It's just these huge murals. Okay, anyway, it's not important, but shout out to those guys. That's awesome. So, anyways, all that to say, I'm a TV kind of guy. However, the one game that I have loved in handheld mode has been Mario Rabbids.
Oh, I can see that.
For some reason, that game just makes more sense. Like, you don't have to worry as much about control. So I don't like the Pro Controller. Honestly, feels worse playing that game with it. And so a lot of the times I would just play on handheld mode because like the short joysticks, I feel like I'm just more in control when I can get get real close to the screen.
Yeah.
So. Interesting to note, and then we're going to kind of jump into this other rumor mill here. I have like a ton of Nintendo news. I realize whatever I care about, I actually put on here on the list, so I apologize to anybody that wants to hear more diverse news. But in an interview with Time, Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé have let slip that one Switch's big forthcoming unconfirmed titles. That did not make sense. Have let slip one of Switch's big forthcoming unconfirmed titles. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Here we go. But with the mentality of creating an experience that the player says, wow, I have never done that before with a Mario game. That's what we try to do. Whether it's with a Metroid experience or, this is the big part, a Donkey Kong experience. We're constantly looking to push the envelope on the IP versus doing sequential small iterations with a particular franchise. Now, he probably didn't put an emphasis on Donkey Kong like I did, so that made it a lot more obvious. But yeah, so the rumor mill here is that, he just threw Donkey Kong out there. So do you think that Donkey Kong is a potential new little sneak reveal that we have coming?
I hope so. I loved the newer Donkey Kong that came out for the
Tropical
Wii.
Freeze and what was the other one?
Wasn't it Donkey Kong? Was it Returns or something like that?
Oh, it was Returns and then it was Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. Returns and then
Hey,
I loved them. I loved them both.
I'm gonna pull this in front of you a little bit. Sorry.
Okay, fine. No,
Okay,
I loved them. That they were super fun, especially in the 2-player mode. Very reminiscent of the re-releases of Mario as a platformer.
Yeah.
Like it was so good.
And they were.
And I'm in. Like I would love to see them do that for the new generation.
Yeah, they were. I just feel like Mario as a whole, like the standard 2D Mario platformer, had gotten kind of stale.
Mm-hmm.
There were like the new Super Mario Bros. Wii U or U, and the stuff before that. I just didn't really love. The art style was kind of what like threw me off at first, and then really the platforming itself was like some levels were really hard.
Yeah.
But a majority of it was just like, okay, like this I'm familiar with all of this, like maybe some new power ups here and there, some new enemies and stuff like that. But for the most part, and it's the same with Odyssey, but for different reasons, Odyssey is incredible. So I never really loved those games. And Donkey Kong kind of brought out a new 2D platformer because like it was like you had to be very precise. Like
that game was so hard.
It was like Super Meat Boy, a little bit toned back. It wasn't as crazy difficult, but like it was hard.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, now granted, me and friends were trying to play it maybe after a few drinks on vacation, so it was a little harder,
loose,
little harder than normal.
This game's impossible.
Yeah, we can't be.
I need to go to bed. I'm gonna try again tomorrow.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. Like I loved playing that, especially multiplayer.
And it like I think it just caught us all by surprise. So if Nintendo did this, I would love to see them kind of revamp that series. I don't know what it would look like. Tropical Freeze was a great departure, but if it stays that way, I'd be happy with it. However, if they do a completely new thing with Donkey Kong, I'd be cool with that also.
Yeah, because they did a few of, I think on the N64 they had
DK64.
Yeah,
so
he's wandering around like, in the open.
Banjo-Kazooie-esque rare days.
Exactly.
So I would I would love another 3D, arrival. That'd be cool just to see that. But I asked a question here with this. What game would you like to see them do this with next? Like this whole mentality of, man, I've never done that with this kind of game before. Like completely new mechanics. Like Breath of the Wild had climbing and all this crazy stuff, open world. Mario Odyssey, it has some similar elements it's pulled from other games, but it definitely feels very new. Like the ability to capture any enemy in the game, basically, and then use them, which is really, really cool. So
just completely changing the idea of like how to work the game.
So what game would you want them to do that with next?
See, I would love...
I think I know your answer.
Yeah, of course you know my answer. So, and it's already been rumored to be coming out, and we don't know what they're going to do with it, but them releasing a Pokemon canon game on the Switch... I cannot wait to see what they do.
It's going to be so good. I'm not going to say it would be. And I know it will be so good.
Yeah, it's going. So the newest rumor behind what that game is going to be is supposedly they may release every region in one single game where you go from region to region.
So you start off in like Kanto, and then you go. I forget the other ones.
Yeah, you go to Sinnoh, you go to Unova, you go to all the different regions. I would freak out.
Oh my blessings! Yeah. I mean, they have the world there for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's
and
nothing.
the Switch has the power to do it.
Oh my gosh.
It would be so good.
So unfortunately, I knew that was your answer, and I didn't really like. I also am in the same boat as you. I was like, man, Pokemon's the next one. It's gonna be it. It's gonna be amazing. However, because I knew you were gonna go Pokemon, I thought a little bit about this. I would love to see them do. I mean, we've seen a little bit of the Kirby and the Yoshi games.
Yeah.
I would just like to see a difficulty spike in either of those franchises, or just make them a bit more challenging.
Kirby has always been one of the easiest games to play in the world. Like you just can't die no matter how hard you try.
And I like them. I like the games.
I love Kirby. Kirby's one of my favorite characters. Love the franchise.
Crystal Shards, I love that game still. I think nostalgia plays heavily into that, but nonetheless, I think Kirby would be a cool one to see. I would like to see a bit more of his powers. Like maybe like what he can do, kind of like just vamp that stuff up. Because I mean, if he can copy anybody's powers, throw him into a world with actual different cool characters instead of just like random little,
things that shoot ice or things that shoot fire.
Yeah, what are those guys called? The beetle.
Waddle Dees.
Yeah, Waddle Dees. Thank you. Yeah, you knew exactly what I was going.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
No more Waddle Dees. Okay, come on, something cooler. Like throw them into New Donk City and have them suck up people, and that actually could be a problem though. I didn't think about that. I was like, Mario's kind of capturing powers now from people and doing that kind of stuff. So maybe that would detract from the Kirby experience. Who knows? So moving on, kind of talking about Kirby. Actually, the Kirby All Stars. That's what the SNES Classic is. A fantastic game. I had never played it before, but it's like a bunch of like full size, bite sized games, if that makes sense, in one package.
Oh.
Like you click on one game and then you're like playing through a whole storyline, and it's some of the levels actually are difficult. It's this traditional just 2D side scroller, but you can copy multiple powers, throw people out, and like combine them. So I was like, I see where they got the Crystal Shards influence stuff from. So
nice.
Real quick though, about the SNES Classic, sales have reached 2 million units worldwide, which doesn't sound like much, but when you compare it to the NES Classic, it's already sold more than that, and again, that was limited, so there was reasoning for that. And just to kind of give you a comparison here as well, the Switch has sold over 7 million units so far since March. So all in all, Nintendo's making some money.
Yeah.
They're making $80 a console or more plus tax. Or I guess tax would include, but $80 a console on these 2 million units. That's that's a lot of money. I can't do the math on that right now. Is that 160 million dollars?
Sure. Why not?
Nope, that's not true. That's not right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
$1,600,000, right?
No matter what you say, I'm going to say yes. That's exactly what it was.
I'm very wrong. I can't do math right now. Either way, hold on. I got to do this. It's bothering me now.
You gotta do the math.
Let me think of the math real quick. Hold on. People are screaming at me right now. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, so I see the draw behind it. I would love to have one.
$160 million. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, my brother loves his. Like, he's been playing it constantly, so he's really had a good time playing. He has been playing. I forget which one of the games he said he's been diving really hard into.
Mario RPG.
See, that's what I would be diving into.
I've almost beat it. I've almost beat it. It is awesome.
It's so good.
It is so good. It's man, you can just see so much of like the Paper Mario games in there. The writing's great, and so I've just really enjoyed just going back through that. 'Cause I remember renting that game when I was younger from Blockbuster.
Yeah, and not letting my parents return it and rent it again.
We haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah, if we give the cartridge back, I have to get the same cartridge so my save file's on there.
We're gonna lose it, Mom. Yeah. We gotta go back and renew it. Yeah. So the SNES Classic as a whole has been doing great. Now the only thing with this though, they're gonna keep on pushing this stuff into the holidays, and I think they've said that they're gonna produce more units, and then they're gonna be selling more NES Classics next year. So I think this is going to be a continued trend, which is good and bad. It's like, I love them. I think it's great. But at what point do you get too far? I think really the last one they can do is the 64.
Oh, yeah, no. They can't do GameCube.
They can't. There's too many big games on there that I feel like they would just lose money on.
Yeah, and it's too new. Like, it really is. It's absolutely
When did the game
too
come out? 2002?
Ooh, something like that.
2001, 2003?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So either way. And then this is kind of funny, just jumping directly into something not Nintendo related, but the PlayStation, just for another comparison, has sold 67.5 million as of like just last week.
Golly, that's a lot.
It's a lot of consoles. It's a lot. That's a lot of money right there.
That's so much money. Have there been any rumors as to the next generation of PlayStation?
I would hope. With the Xbox One X it came out today actually, so this is Monday, and it'll be going up on Tuesday. So. I imagine since they've put out their new flagship console, we'll probably see PlayStation announce something. Either they have their PlayStation, I forget what it's called right now, PlayStation Experience this year.
Okay.
So
cool.
That'll be in, I think, December, maybe. And they'll probably announce some cool stuff there. I doubt there'll be anything about new consoles, but I would love to see it and prove them wrong. So, but they have the PS4 Pro, and I don't know if this includes those numbers or not. And they said that there was an uptick in the middle of this year for about like 4 million units, and I think that has to do with PS4 Pro when they released it. Cool. So, kind of like not true numbers. However, still incredibly impressive when you look at the meager sales of the Switch at 7 million, and you're like, oh, okay, we have a long ways to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, the holiday season hasn't happened yet.
Yes,
so
this is true.
Give it
very,
time.
Very true.
It'll happen.
And the PS4 has been out since 2013, so we got time. We got time.
Yeah.
And this is just so exciting compared to the Wii U, which sold like 13 in its lifetime, and we're already over halfway there. So it's like, yay!
Yeah, it's like, oh, good, Nintendo did something right.
We're finally making it. Speaking of monies, though, this is weird, and I never thought this would happen. But you can now earn money on trophies, or if like you're familiar with Xbox achievements. So anybody that has gotten platinums on games or like any gold trophies for like different challenges and stuff like that, you can earn points for those.
Mm-hmm.
And then every 1,000 points nets you a $10 PSN voucher. Which,
I mean, cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I can't say I've ever platinumed a game because I don't necessarily care about that stuff as much. Like with Mario Odyssey, I will definitely try to get everything. But for the most part, a lot of games are so obtuse in how you get platinum trophies that you're like, I just don't even care to do that. It like ruins the fun for you almost.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, sorry, a friend of mine, Matt Intiman, who's been on the show a couple of times or plenty of times. He's not a completionist, and he always gets on to me because I'm always like, I gotta find everything. I gotta go get all the best armor, and I gotta get this and this and this and this, and like even that is like I can't platinum most games.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I am notorious for starting a game and getting I don't know, like 3/4 of the way through, and then just being like, oh, but like I'm close to the end. I've got to do all the side things, and I start doing all the side things, and then I just stop playing. I never even beat it.
you get burnt out. You're just like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I just don't care about this anymore. You got to be very careful with how much of a completionist you become, because it really, like, sometimes it's not fun. Like, I mean, even in Odyssey, we'll talk about this, but like, there's certain levels that have so many like things to do and collect. Like, I got a little overwhelmed with New Donk City when I got in there. I was like, oh my god, there's just so many nooks and crannies that all these coins could be hiding, and I have to go find them all.
Gotta find every single one.
Like, this is terrible. Oh, like the tortilla chips and Tostarena. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, nonetheless, this is cool. I would love to see other game companies do something with this. I know Nintendo for a while did something with their games where if you bought physical copies of games, you would like achieve points or accrue points, and then you could actually use those points to get like real world items like a little statue or some coins or like a poster, for your dedicated fandom towards Nintendo. So if you can reward people for spending a ton of time playing your games too, that's pretty awesome. So more power to you.
Heck yeah.
And then last awesome thing, just to close out the news segment with, Extra Life has earned $7.5 million, and that was just this week or this weekend. So Extra Life, they had this giant fundraising event where a bunch of streamers and other just video game personalities get together, and they run all these cool streams and events, and people donate to their Twitch channels or whatever, and all the proceeds go to this Extra Life Foundation, which essentially raises money for the Children's Miracle Network in like their local cities.
That is awesome.
It's really cool. And as a total, they've raised more than $30 million for sick and injured kids across the nation.
Wow.
And I believe it might be worldwide. I don't know for sure. But nonetheless, this is really cool because, not a lot of good stuff comes from video games. Not like the player base, and usually the type of individuals that are associated with video games are kind of toxic and not nice.
Yeah.
But the fact that we can raise, $30 million over the course of I think it's been like almost 8 or 9 years that they've been running is pretty cool. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Keep it up, guys. All right, well, we're going to jump into Super Mario Odyssey, so stay tuned. It's going to be awesome.
Here we go, off the rails, but it's time to raise our sails.
And we're back. Guys, we're here to talk about Super Mario Odyssey. One of the best games of 2017, right next to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I would agree.
This has been a great year for Nintendo.
It has. Fantastic year.
A little too great.
Yeah, I'm a little worried now. What else is gonna where's it gonna fall?
We got Zelda, we got Metroid, we got Mario Rabbids, which was a sleeper hit. We got Mario Kart, which remake, but whatever.
Still good.
We got ARMS, we got Splatoon 2,
mm-hmm.
and we got freaking Mario Odyssey.
No, it's so good.
I don't know. I wish they would have maybe held off one for 2018. Not Zelda, but they could.
No. They've been promising Zelda for so long. We had to at least have that in the beginning.
They could have pushed Mario maybe to 2018. That would made everyone be like, man, yeah, 2018 we had Mario Odyssey, and it's like, yeah. So I haven't heard much what's coming after this. So hopefully they surprise us here pretty soon. Randomly, did you hear about this Animal Crossing game that came out for mobile, or it's coming out for mobile?
Somebody mentioned it to me.
Pocket Camp. Looks cool. It looks more kind of like the Happy Home Designer thing again, where you're decorating a camp area instead of a home.
Okay.
But it looks like a pretty full-fledged game. You can actually walk around as your little animal and talk to people and trade stuff and do some cool things here and there. So I mean, if any game I think fits on a mobile platform, I think Animal Crossing makes sense.
Yeah, no, it really does. It never really made sense on the GameCube to me because it was real world time.
Mm-hmm.
So all I ended up doing was changing my time on my GameCube to go to whatever time I needed to in the future. But
and the graphics were never really intensive to where the phone couldn't run it. It's these are pretty basic, just polygonal animal characters walking around doing cute things.
Yeah.
Besides the point, sorry. Needless to say, Odyssey is out. Super glad it's here. I have, I think, 630-ish moons right now.
Whoa, yeah, way further than me. I think I'm 280, 280 something, 89 maybe.
I think to officially beat the game, you only need like 120.
Yeah, I went pretty hard on some of the worlds, so
which is kind of funny if you think about it, because I think that was the same number for 64, right?
Oh, for
Super Mario 64. Was it 120 stars you needed to beat the game total? Like that was the most you could get, I think, was 120 stars.
Oh wow, yeah, maybe, yeah.
I think that's right.
It's been so long since I played that game.
I think that's right. So this one has a total moon count of 999 moons.
Huh. Wow.
So
I've got a long way to go.
Yes. Sorry to demoralize you. But I guess just quick notes before we jump in. It's already sold 2 million copies in the first 3 days. I'm sure it's sold more than that now. And for context, Breath of the Wild has just exceeded 4.7 million copies. So we'll see how this sells. But I imagine with the holidays coming up that we're going to see a ton of just these copies getting sold. And Mario is definitely a more recognizable figure.
Hands down, yeah.
Which is just like it kind of astounds me because I'm much more of a Zelda fan, I would say. However, Mario definitely has a worldwide appeal. I mean, literally are they democracy, Japan?
Yes.
Literally the president popped up in the Olympics wearing a Mario hat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So this game is incredible. People are buying it. It's gotten like 10s across the board pretty much. Everyone says it's a perfect game. It's a masterpiece, a must play for many reasons. So I guess before we jump in, like, how far you said 200 and
280 something, I think. I think I'm on the very last world. Have not beat it yet, but I think I'm right there.
Okay.
So we'll see.
This game does a lot to you to make you think you're done, and then you're like, oh crap. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't even know.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So what's been your favorite part so far?
Gosh, I gotta say, my favorite part, the one thing that has stood out the most to me in this game, and it's not something that usually stands out to me in games, the music. The music is wonderful.
It's really, really good.
Yeah. Which,
I think coming from, and well, actually, no. So Mario 3D World, I really didn't think about the soundtrack that much in that game.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like more of a traditional Mario soundtrack. However, Galaxy was the one that really kind of started the whole orchestrated, movement and all this kind of stuff. And I remember that being a really, really prominent soundtrack because I think they actually did use a real orchestra, and so that was a big deal. They had like the CD that would come with the game when you got it, and you could listen to the orchestra CD. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. But this game's awesome. Yeah,
it's so good.
The music's great.
With the music, the one thing that stood out to me and that I love the most is one of the features in the game. You actually go from being 3D to 2D, and you go like old classic and go through. Not only do if you're wearing the costumes when you go through that, you like your little 2-bit or 8-bit guy is wearing the costume.
Wearing the same costume. Sometimes it looks weird. I'm like, man, it looks so weird seeing a 2D Mario with a funky costume.
Yeah, he's like wearing an inner tube and has like a little scuba mask on or whatever. But no, the music seamlessly goes into like a MIDI track basically.
Yep.
And
then it just turns into whatever the real world soundtrack was.
Yeah.
Just to a chiptune.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And like even like some like the sound effects when you hit like an enemy or something like that, they've revamped it a little bit to be a bit more I don't know how to describe the noise, but it's not traditional Mario noises either. But really, really cool. So you've played through New Donk City?
Yes.
Did you play? Have you gotten the ending in that one, or like the little like
the festival?
Yeah, the festival. Okay,
yeah.
I loved that part. I thought that was so cool.
Fantastic.
It was just it was like a little emotional, It's like, oh man, this is cool because it's going through Pauline and like Mario and DK and like who he kind of is. That was the only weird part about that was like, this isn't the end of the game. I was like, it felt like almost the end of the game. I was like, man, this is cool. This is really awesome. It's like, you still have more to do. And it's like, oh.
Oh, yeah, we're at the end. Oh, no, we're not at the end.
Just a little midway celebration, I guess.
Like, yeah, we're halfway through, I guess.
But good news is you can replay that if you want to.
I have.
I found that out.
I've already replayed it once.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, I just, just exploring the city. And I was like, oh, I can play it again. And I don't think I missed any moons in there, but I made sure,
Yeah. Well, this is the first time that Pauline has been back in a game, right?
I honestly don't know.
Because she was the original damsel that you were trying to save in the Donkey Kong game where you had to climb up the girders and get So, and I think this is the very first time they've actually brought that character back.
Have you answered her trivia? Like, has she asked you questions?
I haven't done the trivia part with her yet.
Okay, like she's just standing around after you beat the city, and she asks you these questions, and half of them I don't even know how you'd even know. I mean, like, it really is just like trial and error. You have to get them wrong so many times. I think you would learn. But I was like, man, like either I'm just an idiot and I don't realize like that I should know these, or like maybe they are really pulling from some deep spots and just being like, hey, you can learn more about Pauline. You know, well, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
But definitely recognize that she was in the original DK, so that's cool. For me, like you, I love those little chiptune parts. Those the 8-bit parts. Those are awesome. Music's so good. I really liked the opening of this game. I liked the Cap Kingdom.
Oh yeah. Just exploring all of the new features for the very first time.
Yeah,
like
just like
the very first full dive into it.
You land and you get to like roll and do all these stupid new Mario tricks. And it felt very like someone else described it this way, but like a Tim Burton-esque kind of world. You know, it's kind of spooky and like black and yellow and white. And I was like, oh, it's like Night Before Christmas sort of, but we're like little cute little ghosts here just rolling around in these hills. And then I think I just, you know, it feels a lot like Galaxy, but what I also just love is that it is Mario 64 / Sunshine in the term sandbox.
It's very, very Sunshine-esque.
Yeah. It's a sandbox. Like,
and I loved Sunshine.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, you have this hub world. You don't even have a hub world actually in this game. It's just you have a world that you go around in, and within each world, there's a bunch of cool things to go do and collect, and you get more stars or moons. And then you have other little mini puzzles or worlds you can go into. And so they're just like, for me, you know, being a kid growing up that like just loved pushing all the buttons on an elevator, you know, it's like really cool. It's like, oh, what does this do? Like, oh, what's over here? Oh, what's going on over here? Like, just there's a lot of just that question happening in my head. I'm like, again, and kind of like Zelda, honestly, you know, like where in Breath of the Wild, you'd see something like really far away and you're like, what is that over there? Looks pretty cool. I'm going to mark it on my map and just go over there. And just
go there eventually.
Just check it out later. That's the one thing that I do wish this game had.
Marking on the map?
Marking on the map.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
Because, like, you know, I mean, I can get there. I'll just have to check my map all the time. I'm like, okay, where am I at? Which it's kind of funny because that's really how it would be for the most part. If you're trying to tour an area, you're like, okay, hold on. I got to pull my little map out. I'm like, I'm here. And I'm next to these ruins. And I got to go over there. So I'm pointing to the north. And that's where I got to go. But I just love that aspect.
I do like the kitschy touristy kind of like you're on a like they give you brochures as your map and like
which is a really nice touch.
It's kind of it's pretty cool. It's well thought out. It's very well thought out.
It's a nice touch. Like as soon as when I hit that for the first time, I was like, oh, it's a travel brochure. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, it is an Odyssey. This is really really cool.
I may have missed it when like I was going through the original part, but the first time they were like, yeah, look at the map, and I was like, wait, I have a map? I didn't know I had a map.
Oh, makes everything easier. It's like, oh, bless, and you can fast travel too, which is
yes, that's nice.
Which is actually like really like a good mechanic to have too, because in Sunshine or any other game, you didn't have that option. It was like, well, you just got to run all the way back to where you were before.
Yeah, and it's like all based off of the one hub world, so you've got to run all the way across. And
Does this like, and this is kind of an open question, but you know, does this redefine the series enough for you?
So I loved the platformer version, and that's actually I always enjoy doing the platformer. I didn't really love the platformer until it became multiplayer, and that ability to be able to play it with my friends was so much fun. I love it so much.
So 3D World?
Well, 3D World was awesome. Any of the Wii, the Mario Wii, Mario Wii U, like all the different versions.
Luigi,
you know, they did the whatever there. But like, I loved being able to play that game with multiple people.
It was so chaotic.
It's so chaotic, and especially if somebody is not very good at it, it's even better. But
you have more patience than I do. I'm trying to collect everything and beat the level, and I'm just like, all right, quit dicking around. We gotta go.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I mean, I just absolutely loved it. But with this, I really enjoyed the like Sunshine, and I enjoyed Galaxy. Galaxy was an interesting twist with the gravity effects and all that. This is one of the first Marios where I want to beat it all the way through on my own. So like Mario Galaxy was cool, but I was like, it's fun. I'm not gonna like go all the way through. Sunshine was the last one that did that for me.
Yeah,
is where I was like, Sunshine, I want to beat every portion of this if I can. I want to go all the way through. That's how I feel about this one, and I did not feel that way about Mario 64, believe it or not. Didn't feel that way about the Mario Wii games on my own. I wanted to like play it with friends and beat it, but I didn't want to like just play it on my own all the time.
Well, and if you think about it too, Mario 64, a lot of the stars were so obtuse that you didn't even know what you were doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like atop the cold summit, and you're like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't even know what that means. So I was like, I have to go to the top, and then for some reason I have to figure out what to do when I'm up there. And it's like, ground pound this ice cube over here in the corner, and then it's like, I don't know. Some of the stuff was so obtuse that it was hard to do, and like that's kind of like Galaxy was a bit more user friendly. However, there was just, again, a ton of stuff that they just tackled on or, like, packed on at the end. Like, once you beat the game, they're like, hey, go back and replay all these levels only with timers on them and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, that's not fun for me. I don't
I'm not doing a time trial.
I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to go collect 1 million coins in the same level over and over again, which is what I'm doing right now in Odyssey. But
it's fine.
Different. It feels different, you know. And I think what this game does expertly also is they make sure that you that you will intentionally or accidentally almost see everything too.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I'm always worried that I'm not going to be able to find all the coins in a level, and then you know I'll kind of go through and like there's linearity that they've designed that you can't tell it's there, but like Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto and people that design this game, they are incredibly talented developers, and so they're like, okay, if I'm a human player and I'm going over here to check out this landmark or whatever, chances are that I'll probably do a little bit of exploring. And so if they turn their camera just a little bit this way, they'll probably see this weird little thing in the bottom left corner of the screen that's purple, and like that's where we'll hide some coins down there, and stuff like that. So, you know, props to Nintendo again for just designing a game that's, you know, not too frustratingly difficult that I'm like, this sucks, I don't want to do this. However, did you do the jump ropes?
Yeah, so
dude, F the jump ropes.
I don't remember. I got the moon for it. I don't know if you can get 2 moons for it.
Oh, you can.
Oh god bless. Okay, yeah, I haven't done that, but I got the 1 moon and I was like, all right, good enough, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm over it. It's stupid. I don't want to jump anymore. So I think the first one's like 30 jumps or like 50 jumps, and then the second one's 100 jumps. And once you hit 50, it's the same speed, which is nice.
Yeah.
However, you have to short hop every single jump. So, like, you know, Mario, you can hold it down and he'll jump higher.
Yeah.
Or you can barely tap it and he'll short jump. And I don't know. Actually, this is a great question. Have you been playing this game with Joy-Cons or have you been playing with the Pro Controller?
So I've been doing Joy-Cons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is the way to play.
Yeah. No, hands down. Like,
it really is.
Yeah. So with the Joy-Cons, there's so many features where you can just shake one and he'll throw. You can shake to the side and it'll throw the hat in a
full
circle.
360.
Like, there's so many different ways to actually use the motion controls. Yeah. I love it.
And the hat has like a homing function where if you throw it and then you shake it again, it'll actually lock onto the nearest enemy or target and just immediately snag to it, which is super helpful in a lot of situations.
Oh yeah.
I was playing on the Pro Controller at first, and I was like, I keep on missing all these enemies, and I keep on just like barely missing like these things to latch onto. And then I read someone's like, he's like, before you play Mario Odyssey, he's like, I urge everyone to play with Joy-Cons. He's like, it makes it so much better. And I was like, I'll try it. And I was like, oh my god, it's way better.
No, hands down, it's the way to play the game.
So if you haven't played it yet, or you are playing it, just play with Joy-Cons if you haven't yet. It's just so much easier, and it's just a better experience all around. But that made me think of this because the only downside is on the Joy-Cons, the buttons are a lot more clickier. They're a lot more clicky, so you can't really like short hop as easily.
Yeah.
So I actually had to get my Pro Controller to go back to the jump rope challenge to short hop a lot better on that one thing, because it gets so frustrating on the Joy-Cons. I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, not doing this. I'm done. And I just turned the game off, and I came back later with the Pro Controller. I was like, all right, here we go. This is fine.
Yeah.
For me though, the capture mechanic, they're not going to do it again. I don't think. I don't think this will be. This is a one. You know, like Sunshine had the jetpack, Galaxy had like the star bits and like the flick control, whatever, and low gravity. And I think this is the capture control stuff. But I don't know if what are they going to do next?
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't ever do the capture thing again. I mean it's so weird when you think about like the franchise of Mario and what they would do next, like where they would want to go with this.
Think about where they've come from, like literally,
right?
It's crazy.
And I do love the fact that they show you where they came from in this game by putting elements of the original series in. Yeah, I mean it's so good.
Oh my gosh, his name was literally Jumpman. How like unoriginal.
I mean, he jumps.
He's a man who jumps over barrels, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh man! And did you know that they little trivia here that they put a mustache on him because they didn't have enough bits or pixels to actually give him a mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, we'll draw a shape. It's
and
fine.
There's where his iconic mustache came from also, because they're like, let's just give him a little mustache. That way no one even knows if he actually has a mouth or not.
Yeah.
I've had a blast with this game, and I can't just say it enough. But if you have a Switch, or if you're kind of on the fence, which I don't know, most people aren't on the fence about a Mario game. Usually, they're like,
yeah,
I'll buy it.
Yeah, like, no, I'm getting it.
But if you've been kind of waiting to buy a Switch this holiday, or really just around this time, is a great time to jump in, because you have so many good games on it now.
Yeah, just got back from a road trip with a buddy of mine, and on the drive back, since I was driving, he was playing Mario on the Switch, and he was like, I wasn't going to, but yeah, I've got to get one. I've got this game is too much fun. I've got to get a Switch.
It's crazy. And the crazy thing is, too, that while all these huge AAA releases are coming out, there's a ton of really good like indie stuff. That's every single week. Like there's like new games coming out. I'm like, I don't even know what that even is. I haven't even heard of that. I don't know what that even is. And like some people are like, these are like under Stardew Valley came out on the Switch. Yeah. Which I feel like you would like a lot, just from a Pokemon standpoint.
Harvest Moon was my jam back in the day. Just saying.
But still, I mean, like, there's just so much to do on the Switch, and this just being on there is another just fantastic addition to the squad, or the family, as they call it.
I love it.
I will say one negative, or one thing that I've just kind of noticed with Odyssey, and it's hard to bash this game because it is really, really great, but I don't want to just be rainbows and butterflies. It's it can get a little bit tedious, and some of the moons aren't like very creative.
Yeah.
Some of the stars or moons in the levels, like they just put it like somewhere like on like a very easy to get to like platforming spot. You're like, oh okay, it's just right there. That's a moon. Okay.
Yeah. There was one in one of the levels where so one of the features in the game is after you get through like the main portion of the game, or of each kingdom, they put a little toad over by the ship, and you can you pay the $50 for the hint.
Yeah.
And so I paid for the hint on one of them, and it was literally just barely off the edge on a ledge, just right there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
I mean, you missed it. So obviously, I mean, like, some people might miss that. There's been some really easy ones that I've missed. And I'm like, son of a gun.
It's like, really?
It's like, why'd I pay for that hint? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also a great feature too, is the hints. Like,
yeah.
I'll try to find everything that I can on my first run through and do as much exploring as I can. And then when I've finally hit like that point where I'm like, I'm just tired of this world, and I don't want to just keep. That sounds very, very depressing. I'm tired of this level that I'm on right now, and I don't want to, spend my time just searching more and more and more. I'll pay for some hints. Be like, okay.
And it does hit a limit, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
Oh, really?
So, like, it'll get to a point where, like, I have no more hints for you, and there's still like 17 moons left. I'm like, no,
oh, that is not me at all. Yeah. That, and I think. The platforming took me a second to get used to, but I love it now. Have you gotten the hat jump down yet? Like,
yeah.
That was like one of the first things I wanted to learn, because I saw someone do that and I was like, that's amazing. And so you can like triple jump or do a long jump. You can throw your hat and then dive onto your hat and go up again, and then throw your hat again and then dive towards it. So essentially you can clear a very large amount of distance.
Yeah.
With just like one go.
There are so many, like, and I forget the different ways you can jump, because you can now do like the crouch backflip. You can do like the weird sideways somersault jump, like
360. If you spin really fast, he'll start spinning like a top, and you can like jump up in the air, and he'll like float down really slow.
Yeah. There's that one. There's just so many different little things that you get really inventive on how to get through these different levels.
He still jumps, but he's definitely got some variety in his jumps now. But I'm not going to spoil anything, but this game also has a ton of like really, really cool like just stuff to do after you beat the main story.
Okay.
Like just really awesome stuff that I think anyone that's a fan of Mario games will just love. So definitely, maybe like when you and I get further in the game, and it's been a little more since Mario Odyssey's come out, we can talk about full in-depth spoilers on the game. But that also is something that I think this game just does so well. Is just like fan service and a bunch of cool stuff that you can do. It's like, this is awesome. I like the costumes too. What's
the costumes are fun.
What's been your favorite costume?
Oh, I just love the fact he can just run around the boxers. I mean, that's just too funny to me. Like, come on, it's like one of the first ones you can buy. You can just buy just Mario in boxers.
And that caused like an internet frenzy when people saw his nipples for the first time. They're like, oh my god, Mario has nipples. Like, this is so weird. They're tiny. Like, everyone was just like freaking out about that.
I love it. I love it.
And like the fact you can like play with the dog, like when you land down there, like you can just throw your hat and he'll catch it and you can run around
in the sand world.
Mm-hmm.
That one I about died. I was like, I can't handle how unbelievably adorable this is.
It's they definitely up the cute factor a lot as well.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I was gonna say one thing that I have not done a feature on because I don't have any of them. Have you done any of the amiibo stuff?
Yeah.
Like what's that like?
So, I'll say that it's. So if you're next to the Toad and there's a little amiibo bot next to it, or like Roomba,
yeah.
If you scan it with him, it's the same thing as getting a hint from Toad. It just reveals a star or a moon somewhere on the map 5 minutes later. So I don't know how many times you can do that. I haven't tried stacking it. I have the Bowser wedding amiibo up there. I scanned that one in and got a hint. But I scanned one in the gardens, the wooded.
Yeah, the Woodland Kingdom or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they're called. And that one, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but when I scanned the Bowser in again, like a purple ring like showed up like in the top. Like, if I looked up, there was like a purple ring just highlighting this specific area. I couldn't see what it was actually like highlighting. Maybe it was like revealing coins, which would be really cool. Like if you're like having a hard time finding the last like two, I'm missing I think 1 or 2 coins in one kingdom. I'm like, son of a gun, I have no idea where they are. Because like what sucks is like the coins can be in the main hub world, but they also are in like the individual little small levels that you go into sometimes. And so like you might have missed one somewhere randomly in one of those small levels, and so there's no way to even visibly see it or like physically see it in the main world. And you're like, I have no idea where it is.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's what it also does. Is it reveals like where a coin location might be.
Isn't it supposed to do something with costumes too, or did I make that up?
Yes. So when I scanned the Bowser, and I also got the Bowser costume. Oh, so nice. It has a little turtle shell and a little white hat and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's just the Odyssey ones you'll get the costumes for.
Oh, okay.
Because I scanned in the Smash Bros. Mario, and nothing happened. That's when I actually got the purple coin thing showing up. So maybe just regular amiibo will do that for you, and then like actual physical Mario Odyssey ones will do the costume and stuff for you.
Yeah, they did 3 amiibo for this. The Peach. Okay. Cool.
I didn't care too much to get the other ones. I didn't have a Bowser amiibo, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll get the wedding Bowser.
Might as well.
It's kind of cool. But yeah, the costumes. I love I like the swimsuit one. I think it's just kind of funny. He's got his little snorkel on and his little flippers.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I just think this is a great game. I don't know if I could score it, but if I could, I'd probably give it almost a perfect score. Maybe like very, very high 9s, just because like some of it gets a little repetitive and some of it's like a little bit easy where it's like, okay, this is just a collectathon at this point. However, I love that stuff. So
yeah, it's not too repetitive. It is a little tedious in some of the things where you're like, okay, I really got to go all the way through this to do this one thing. But yeah, so far what I've come across every single time, it's just a completely new concept. I love that you've got brand new kingdoms to go into. There's brand new characters that you're coming across. In the new worlds, there are new like species, I guess you would call it. Like there's little snail people in the beach city.
Yeah,
like,
each place has different people.
Yeah, like the one has just little robots that water plants. Like it's weird, but I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I think that's also one of my like favorite things is just landing in a world. The first time you get in, you're like, oh man, there's so much to do.
Yeah, and it's completely different. It's not like when they did all of the platformers where like, okay, I know there's going to be an ice level. I know there's going to be a cloud level. I know there's going to be
These have all been totally different,
completely new. Like there's a beach world. You're in a forest, and then in another one you're
in a city.
Yeah, then you're in a lake.
You're in a lunch kingdom.
Yeah. Like there's so many new things to do, and I love it.
Have you? This is not really spoilers, but so in the Wood Kingdom with the little water robots, have you fallen off the edge and gone down below?
No, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little like fun schoolyard, rumor for you. And it's particular areas that you have to fall off at. Like you can't just fall off like at one spot. It has to be, I forget where it is. So figure that out.
Okay.
Because if you notice on the bottom of that map, there's a little question mark, and that's like supposed to be, I think, like the secret little spot over there. And that's the only kingdom that I've encountered that has that. But that was. Sorry, I kind of might have ruined your little surprise there for you.
That's totally fine.
But
do it when I leave here.
But it totally. I was like, oh wow. I was like, did not see that coming. So definitely check that out because
awesome.
That pissed me off for a while too. I was like, where are these other stars at? I was like, where are these moons at?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm missing like so many right now. I was like, I don't know like where they would be. And then by chance, I accidentally fell off one time, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, see that so that is one of my only complaints is that some of the kingdoms are so big, like they're vast. There's so much stuff you can do in them, and then you come across a few where it's just like, oh, I could do this entire one in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, there's like bite-sized kingdoms. There's little like just baby ones, which actually I think is great. They kind of split up the other kingdoms. So like you've done like a massive one, then you're like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this again in a new kingdom. Maybe they're like, hey, here's like a little small one. You can kind of just explore in like, 20, 30 minutes. It's fun. You can get out of there and do something else next. Yeah. Again, good level design, good game design, because I think that makes each kingdom feel very unique. Even the small ones, they're cool to go back to. You're like, oh wow, yeah, this is
I was like,
cool.
oh, I missed that, and I missed that, and I missed that.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just can't wait to hear your just full thoughts once you beat the game, because like it's crazy just like what they put in there. I'm like, man, I was like, just Nintendo is just redefining all their IP, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The reinventions on the classic ideas are just so phenomenal right now.
It's gonna be so good. So keep an eye out for maybe a spoiler cast review sometime down the road once we've had Mario Odyssey a little bit longer and given it some time to settle. But anything else you want to throw in there before we close out?
I'm good.
All right. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our podcast. Remember, BitCast is a weekly podcast, sort of, not weekly at all anymore, that covers most things video games and pop culture. Michael, thank you again so much for being here, man.
Thanks, Brad.
Just so glad that we can play Odyssey and let people know that it's so good.
Yeah,
and
wonderful.
You need to go on your own Odyssey. Be sure to go to BitBloggist.com to check out all of our content. I am now posting the audio and the video versions of this at one time. So if you want to find that, they'll be on YouTube, and they'll also be on our page as well with the audio links. Remember, those audio links are on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, pretty much any podcast service out there you can find us on. Subscribe, like, and share that stuff. And remember to send emails to bitcast@bitbloggist.com to be a part of the show. Until next time, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in to talk about some stuff.